Nigeria has had a myriad of accidents in the past. Can you tell us some of the factors that contribute to air accidents?
Well, certainly if you go by statistics worldwide, you find that almost all the accidents have some form of human factors or human elements into it. And basically, we do accident investigation to determine causes, but the main thing is to learn lessons by making safety recommendations to prevent accidents from happening. And most of the time when people hear human factors, they go to human errors. Well, as human beings, of course, we are bound to make some errors, but it is for us to understand things that lead to those errors so that we can guard against them to ensure that such errors are reduced to the barest minimum. And it's not always pilot. Pilot is just one, is the last line of defense, if you want to put it that way, when it comes to accidents. The air traffic controller is a human being. The designer of the aircraft is a human being. If it's a computer-aided design, somebody designed the computer and made the inputs. So the maintenance, the manufacturing, the other service providers, the meteorologist, the loader, dispatcher, they are all human beings. So basically, most of the accidents have some form of human inputs.
One of your basic rules is to provide safety recommendations. How do you ensure that these recommendations are put into practice?
The end result of an accident investigation, as I mentioned, is that or those recommendations that we make to prevent accidents from happening. We have been doing that, and I would like everybody to understand that we don't wait until final report before we make safety recommendations. We issue, and we try to monitor the implementation. So far, I'm happy to say almost all the recommendations we have made have either been implemented fully or they are at various stages of implementation. You should understand that certain implementations cannot be done overnight. It takes time to implement certain things. For example, from the 2005 to 2006, we had some major air accidents. Most of them had some weather-related issues. You know, there may be other issues, but they all happened during weather activities. And mainly, we identified something like wind shear, which is the sudden change of wind speed or direction it affects, especially if it's near the ground. It's fairly difficult to control it. So we made safety recommendations which involved training and and then on-board equipment to detect, and also regulation to require installation of those things, those equipment on board and also on the ground. And I'm happy to say that based on that we have not had any weather-related accidents since those times. So I believe it's a big achievement along that line.
When you make these safety recommendations, do you have to go to an authority before they now get to the airlines?
Our safety recommendations are targeted mainly at the regulatory agency. But during the investigation, the regulatory agency and also the operator concerned are normally carried along so that they know what we have found out, so that they can take corrective measures to ensure we don't have any other thing. But the Civil Aviation Authority has the regulatory power and the enforcement power. So we address it to them to ensure compliance, because they regulate and also they enforce those regulations.
Still dwelling on safety recommendations, are they part of your accident prevention measures?
Accident investigation itself is for prevention. It is purely technical, scientific story, but a story that is backed by science and story that we will learn lessons from. It may be reactive in nature, but what we plan to do is to go beyond waiting until an accident happens, then we learn lesson from it. I believe you must have heard that we have acquired a download laboratory, a flight safety laboratory, which has the capability to download flight data recorders from accident aircraft. But also, I would like people to understand that anytime an aircraft is flying, once recorders are fitted on those aircraft, they are recording data. And if you don't utilize the data that is available, the data and the voice, their recordings, they will end up, perishing because they are designed to operate in a loop, whereby if it is a 2-hour recording that is required, after 2 hours is being erased, another one is coming. So if we're able to capture those data and those recordings in good time, we'll be able to analyze and make recommendations, not having to wait until an accident happens. And we are going along that direction, using this our lab to ensure that we have that proactive accident prevention program in place.
The non-punitive reporting system, has this impacted on safety? Do people actually tell you the truth?
We plan to do more to actually educate people that when they report, because it's anonymous, you don't have to write the name. You don't even have to write the organization in the real sense of it, but something that will give us a lead so that we can go out to correct whatever we see that is going wrong. So we like to encourage people, especially from the operator side, service providers, regulator, to blow the whistle, so that for us it's a wake-up call. What we want is to prevent accidents from happening. That is why we're here.
Well, many people believe that it takes like eternity to produce an accident report. Why does it take that long?
Well, there are many stages to accident investigation. I told you why we investigate, and the stages are: we want to know what happened first. Then the next thing is how, and then the next is, of course, why. The who is less of a problem because the who is operating within the system. We look at system and try to correct the system, improve the system, and so on. So it's essentially research and development. Researches, they take time. What is very easy to find, and we want to see the sequence of events that led to those. And it means you have to examine so many things. We examine the human beings involved, and not only the pilots, they're not only human beings, the engineers, the organizational structure of the operator himself as the airline, the other service providers, where there are other inputs, air traffic control, weather relation, and maybe even regulatory, and so on. So all those take time because we have to conduct interviews, get documents, analyze those documents, and so it's not unusual. The target is normally 12 months. That's assuming you have all the facilities, 12 months. But we start with notification, then we go to what we call preliminary reports, and then the final report. If we are able to make the final report within 1 year, International Civil Aviation Organization standard is that you provide what they call an interim statement. So whatever findings you have made within the period after the preliminary report. And no two accidents are exactly the same. Requiring that all aeroplanes doing commercial operations have on board an equipment that will detect, even predictively, not even waiting until it happens. It doesn't wait until you get into that wind shear condition, and so on. So those are some of the things that we do for accident prevention. In addition, also, we do facility visitations. That's when we monitor implementation.
As the program trails to an end, we bring you another 4 of the world's most unique airports. The Don Mueang International Airport in Bangkok, Thailand. Now from a distance, this international looks like any other mid-sized airport. However, in the middle of the 2 runways is an 18-hole golf course. Its uniqueness comes from the fact that the only taxiways are located at the end of the runways. The airport and the course were originally an all-military operation, but have since opened up to commercial traffic. Security threats, however, have limited the public's access to the greens. Imagine the runway made of ice. Well, that's what is obtainable at the Ice Runway Antarctica. This ice runway is one of 3 major airstrips used to haul supplies and researchers to Antarctica's McMurdo Station. As its name implies, there are no paved runways here, just long stretches of ice and snow that are meticulously groomed. Here, there is no shortage of space on the ice runway. No supersized aircraft like the C-130 Hercules and the C-17 Globemaster III can land with relative ease. The real challenge is making sure that the weight of the aircraft and cargo doesn't burst the ice or get the plane stuck in soft snow. Next is the Congo House Airport in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Most major cities have an airport, but rarely are they built just 5 miles from the city center, especially in metropolises like Sao Paulo. This airport's close proximity downtown can be attributed in part to the fact that the city has experienced rapid development after the airport's construction in 1936. Having an airport only 5 miles from the city center may be a convenience for commuters. It places a strain on both pilots and air traffic control crews. It's a challenge in terms of safety to get the plane in there. And finally is the Gisborne Airport in New Zealand. There are no cliffs, no city center, or even a golf course. The only spectacular thing about Gisborne Airport on the northern island of New Zealand is the railway line that intersects the runway. Waiting times and delayed flights, patience is a must for those using this airport.
That's all on the program. Feel free to reach us on Aviation this week at channelstv.com. I'm Bukola Joe Oketumbi. Thanks for watching.